So we just got some new leaks for GTA 6, and we know that we can trust this leak because it's coming from GameRoll. This is someone who posted the full names of Jason and Lucia weeks before we got trailer 2 and all of the screenshots. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that this guy's not making this stuff up. So first up we have the weapon wheel, and according to the leak we're getting a limited weapon wheel. And if you want to carry more guns, you have to store them in your car's trunk, just like how you would store extra rifles and shotguns on your horse in Red Dead Redemption 2. And I mean, this one makes sense. This is kind of what we've been speculating on over the last couple months, and that final video on the website almost made it seem like Rockstar was telling us flat out that yeah, you're going to be storing your weapons in the trunk. Look at this, they're getting the weapons from the trunk. But this also means that your car is going to matter a lot more in GTA 6. I mean, your car is essentially becoming your mobile inventory, so maybe now there's more incentive for you to stick with one car. I mean, in GTA 5, each of the characters had their own personal car, but that didn't matter a whole lot to me because whenever I was in missions or coming out of a mission, I would just steal a random car and that would just be the car that I used for the next little bit. But it sounds like it's going to be more important than ever to make sure you keep your car with you because that's going to be where all your weapons are. But I'm also looking forward to creating a bond with my cars that's just as strong as my horse in RDR2. I just hope that I don't cry over it at the end of the game. Next up in the leaks, we have information about character switching. Now, it was already kind of a given that we would be able to switch between Jason and Lucia, but more importantly here, we can actually switch to play as both of them. Well, kind of. There's going to be a third option that allows both Jason and Lucia to kind of free roam together, and then you can switch between them together. And I imagine that this is going to mostly be used for doing robberies, but I also imagine that there might be some missions in the game that require both Jason and Lucia to be present, so you might have to use this option of switching in order to start the mission. I imagine that when you're free roaming with both Jason and Lucia, we'll have an opportunity to get to know both of these characters more and their relationship together, as I imagine they're not just going to be walking around silently. They're probably going to be talking to each other while they're doing this stuff. Moving on, this next leak is actually insane. Allegedly, there's going to be over 700 robbable stores. And if this is real, I mean, this seems like something insane that we're just not even ready to comprehend. I mean, GTA 5 had the gas stations that you could rob, but that was basically it. And along with this, they also said that we could enter malls. And that's malls plural. There's not just going to be one mall that we can enter. Apparently there's going to be at least two. And I imagine we can rob every single store in those malls. And with this, I think it's pretty obvious that at least at the beginning of the game, Jason and Lucia are going to be doing these small-time robberies where we go around and just rob stores. Probably not accumulating too much money right off the bat, but then it's probably going to escalate further and further. And maybe if we rob a bunch of stores in the same area, our heat level gets too hot and we have to go and relocate somewhere else for a little bit. And the other thing that this implies is that there's going to be a ton of enterable buildings. And the next part of the leak further confirms that because they say that there's going to be elevators and skyscrapers. Now, the leak isn't clear as to whether or not these elevators are actually going to be usable, but I mean, let's just assume they are. Now, what's the point of being able to use an elevator in a skyscraper if you can't even enter the buildings? And what's the point of riding an elevator up a skyscraper if there aren't any rooms that you can stop off at and go into? Now, I don't know how much depth these rooms are going to have, maybe they're just office spaces, but still, that's going to be really interesting to see what we can do in those buildings. And possibly the biggest news of this leak is that there will be male strippers, which also seems to indicate that there's going to be more than just one strip club in the game. And I was kind of already leaning towards this direction anyway, since we knew about Jack of Hearts, and then we also could see the Delights Club in the Port Gellhorn screenshots. Our next leak has to do with the map, and we unfortunately have found out that there is not going to be a panhandle on the map. Now, the panhandle was something of hot discussion amongst the mapping community. The only evidence of a panhandle existing in the game was from some of the leaks back in 2022, where we could see what looked like a panhandle on some of the street signs, but there was nothing really conclusive that showed that there was a panhandle in the game. Now, maybe at one point there were plans to put a panhandle on the map, but those just kind of fell through. What we do know now is that it seems like there is no panhandle on the map, and it's just going to be a vertical strip of land. And this is kind of disappointing for me because I was hoping that we would get a little bit more variation on the typical island format of the maps that we've seen in GTA games, especially coming off of GTA 5, which was just an elongated strip of land and that was it. I think that a panhandle would have added some variety to the landscape, or at least to the map itself, which would have been interesting. And then finally, we've learned that there will be 5 story chapters in the game, which doesn't tell us a whole lot because we don't even know if they're going to actually visually tell us what chapter we're in the game. It might just be their back end of like, hey, this is the first chapter where the players will be doing this and this and this, and then they'll move to chapter 2 or they'll be doing this, you know. it might not be something that's directly communicated to us at all in the game. Either way, it sounds like we're probably in store for a pretty lengthy game, so I don't think anyone has to worry about the game being too short. So that's pretty much everything from the leak. There were a couple things that I left out that were just details about things that got cut that I just didn't feel were as relevant as some of this other stuff. I guess for a quick round, we got the proning system was cut, no dual wielding, and then this one random event has been cut apparently. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this super quick analysis on the leaks, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button because I've got a lot more videos coming out over the next couple weeks, some pretty big ones that I'm very excited to start filming very soon. And while you're here, I would definitely recommend checking out my 90-minute long video I did over analyzing all 70 GTA 6 screenshots. Click it on the screen now.